All right, I want to share with you something amazing. Basically, it's more to open your mind, and I want to speak about superhuman beings. They are people who have special powers in this world, usually because they're born like that, or sometimes because they train to be like that. And we have to understand that it is today possible to meet those people or to train yourself to get there, to get those experiences. So, like a famous quote, we are not human beings trying to have a spiritual experience, we're spiritual beings trying to have a human experience. So you're a soul, you're spiritual, and you're limited by your body, or the way you were taught to think, or the way you're taught to do things. Really, the same way you have physical eyes, you have spiritual eyes, and you could see spiritual things, but because you never trained to do it, you won't know. Just like anything, there are things that um, um, optical illusions. You can see something and you think it's that way, but because you're not taught to look at it as another way, you will think this is the way it looks. So you think the world looks exactly like that, but really, it's all a garment, and there are much more things to discover. So here I'm going to speak to you about superhumans or special humans, that people that I've met, or people or things that I have experienced myself, or things that most of it that I've researched and see exist, and it's out there. You just have to do your research and you'll find out that there are thousands of testimonies and proofs and all that. So number one is seeing. There are people who are able to see spiritual things. They're able to see the aura. This actually you can train yourself to do usually. Some people can see it from the beginning. They can see the energy. Aura is an energy around you. Some people who can see dead people, dead souls from the past, previous lives, recently dead. And they can see also souls of angels, spirits. They're all different types of spiritual entities, and they can communicate with them. They can hear them, speak to them. Obviously this is different than cases of schizophrenia. There are cases where someone can have mental illness and see things, but we're not talking about that. We're talking people who can actually are very healthy, and they can see those entities and see those spiritual energy. That people can see the energy in the world, energy, the aura around plants, and almost everything has an aura. Okay, that's number one. Number two, there are a lot of people, especially kids, who can remember the past life. What happens as more we go and more forget about our past, and most of us forget our past. It says when we're born, we're hit here by an angel, and we forget our past and everything we have learned. But the truth is, some people are able to still remember. Somehow they have that special gift. Or some people say it's not a gift, and the reason why God doesn't want us to remember most of the time is because we're not meant to remember. We're meant to figure out from our life and present life what our past life is, and basically you'll see the studies of thousands of cases where the kids remember their past life, and so reincarnation exists, and it's proven. Those studies shows they basically speak to those kids, and they check the information, and they can accurately see that everything that they say exists about the past, and there's no way that that child or that person could remember the past. Then there are people who can use the chi power. The chi is a natural energy in the body, in the world, and they can have different names. But the famous thing is called chi, from the Chinese, and is used in martial art mostly, but also for healing. And those people, you can see people breaking things or doing incredible physical things, even though according to the laws of nature and science, they wouldn't be able to do that, to break something or to lift something. So it is true in terms of martial art, and it is true in terms of healing. There are people who can use that energy. Sometimes it's not just through chi, there's all the things, but people can heal themselves. Especially people who are connected nowadays to meditation and quantum physics. One other person I will cite is Dr. Joe Dispenza, who teach you to connect to your consciousness and enter into the quantum field, quantum reality where everything is possible, and connect to the energy. Some people, so some describe it as connecting to God, some connect to the spiritual world, connecting to the power of love, or different things, and people are able to heal you. They're able to see where you're hurting, and they're able to download the energy from their body to your body, or from the spiritual world to you, from creation to you. This is something that thousands of people nowadays experiences. So these people who can heal like that and use the chi for that. Then you have people with psychic abilities like medium who can predict the future. And this is something in Judaism we don't do. We don't predict the future because we still have the ability to change certain things. Almost nobody can know the future perfectly. There are almost always mistakes, even with the stars used in astrology or stuff like that. In Mazal Israel, especially for the Jewish people, there is a special ability to bypass the power of the stars and have our free choice change the script, so to speak, the destiny. So a medium can see and see things that from the future, but for sure of the past in very minute details. I've experienced that myself. They can know or have telepathic power, even know what you are thinking right now. And they can see everything about you, things that you have done in the past, and personal details, that. So that's something that I guess people are more aware of. Then you have people who performed hypnosis. Hypnosis enable you to go back in the past and relive something of your past, now remember something of your past, but they also I don't remember the exact word, but regression or degradation hypnosis, where you go even before you're born and go back to where you were in the previous life, and re-experience that moment and remember certain things. So that's something that also exists. Then you have people who are able to see the lines of the forehead or the lines of the hand is also more known. They can figure out, it's more wisdom, it's not so much a superpower, it's more wisdom, but there's also on a high level, on a spiritual level, if you really learn how to do it, you can see things, lights sticking out from your lines, and your lines, but